On today's episode, the President of OCR Croatia, Andrej Simatic. Welcome to the OCR Report podcast. The OCR Report is the live stream home for the sport of obstacle course racing. Become a member at patreon.com/the OCR Report and help us ensure OCR is here for the next 100 years. My name is Will Hicks, and this is the OCR Report. Thank you for listening. My name is Will Hicks to the OCR Report podcast. You can email me, will@theocrreport.com. You can follow us on Instagram @the OCR Report and subscribe for free on YouTube, youtube.com/the OCR Report. We'd love to have you on all of those places. Today on our show, we're talking OCR Croatia, the president of OCR Croatia, Andrej Simatic. And I learned a lot. It's exciting. It's exciting to hear about the sport from a completely different angle. We're talking with Andrej in a few minutes. Before we do, today is day 8 of 30 days hath September. 30 podcasts hath September. 8 of 30. Have you listened to the first 7 episodes yet? All month this month, the OCR Report is bringing you a podcast a day, every single day, from the OCR Report and World's Toughest Podcasts, Obstacle Running Adventures, OCR Talk, Fran and Carlo Get OCR Adjacent, Nitty Gritty Training, Strength and Speed, and Travels with Jack Goris. So tune in all month long. Listen to all those shows. You can find them by searching on Spotify for the name or on our Instagram. Each day we have a link to the previous episodes, or that day's episode. And today's day 8. Very exciting to provide you with all of the OCR podcast content your heart could desire. Tomorrow is Obstacle Running Adventures. They actually might be up today already. They are on the ball. Mike and Caitlin. They just had their 400th episode, 401 this week. Good job, you guys. Before we talk to our guest, let's read some iTunes reviews.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars. 5 stars.
We've got a review from Ben Canada 79. Great podcast. 5 stars. I'm new to OCR, but listen to a ton of podcasts. Love your show and will keep listening in. My kids already know a few OCR elite racers from your streams on YouTube and cheer them on. Great to be part of this growing community. Thank you, Ben Canada 79. How cool is that? His kids are watching our live stream races on YouTube, and they know some of the athletes. That's pretty wild to think. Like, you're just like, I'm just going to go to a race. Hey, it's a series race. Okay, cool. It's a big one. Oh, hey, it might be live streamed. It might be televised on YouTube. Hey, that's pretty cool. Oh, hey, there's kids watching, and they're actually fans of yours. That's pretty wild, you guys. Show up to races, win some races, get some fans. Who knows what will happen? Ben Canada 79, thank you for that review. You are very kind. Tell your kids thank you for watching. And we'd love to see them at a future race. You can leave a review for the show, just like Ben Canada 79. Go to the Purple Podcast app on your iPhone or iOS device. Search for the OCR Report. Scroll down and click Write a Review, and I will read it on a future episode. You can also go to lovethepodcast.com/OCR, especially if you don't have an iOS device. lovethepodcast.com/OCR. Thanks again, Ben. Last thing before we talk to our guests. If you want to be a Patreon member and support the sport, we would love to have you there as well. Go to patreon.com/the OCR Report. And you can sign up for as little as $5 a month. I was actually stalling while I was trying to think of the last thing I wanted to bring up. We just launched a brand new text program. You guys should check it out. go to our Instagram page at the OCR Report. Just hit our stories. You'll see a link. Or go to our link tree in the link in bio. Every day we send out a via text, like just some deal. Maybe it's shoes. Maybe it's a watch. Maybe it's headphones. Maybe, I don't know what it'll be in the future. Maybe it'll be merch. Maybe it'll be protein powder. I don't know. Something OCR or fitness related that either we love or maybe it's a good deal on it. Like, oh my gosh, like everything so far is like been on a deal, like shoes for $50 off or a watch for $70 off. So check it out. Go to our Instagram page, click the link in bio, and join our text program. We would love to have your text number. We're never going to spam you. It's very easy to subscribe, very easy to unsubscribe if you want to at any time. And every purchase you make helps support the OCR Report. The price is exactly the same to you, like to the buyer, but the companies appreciate the referrals. And they're like, hey, thanks for sending a potential customer our way. Here's a little something for your trouble. So go to Instagram.com/the OCR Report. Click the link in bio, and it's the top link there to sign up for our text program. It's time to talk OCR Croatia. Let's go to the phones. Andrej Simatic is the president of OCR Croatia. He recently returned from the FISO OCR World Championships in Costa Rica. We are proud to have him on the show. Andrej, welcome to the show.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Andrej, my knowledge of OCR Croatia is almost zero. Tell me about the sport. Tell me about how you got involved with it. First of all, tell me how you got involved with OCR, and then let's talk about the sport in Croatia.
I mean, it's completely logical that your knowledge of OCR Croatia is zero because we didn't exist 1 year ago. So that quite goes one with another. But basically, I started with the OCR in 2021. So it was actually the COVID time. And it was through Spartan races. Actually, my first Spartan race was in Hungary with my wife. I just stumbled upon it on the internet. It seemed so fun. And, went there. It was an hour and a half drive away. And we were completely amazed how fun and exciting this race was because both of us, we have been in sports our whole lives. And this was, a completely new challenge after, being involved in basically almost professional sports when we were kids and then tangling with different kind of things through the whole 20s and mid 30s. So that was quite fun. And then after a couple of Spartan races, which are basically at that time the only OCR races here in this region, or at least the only races that were somehow on the spotlight and that we knew of. I tried to seek out like-minded people. And, when you hear, somebody went to a Spartan race, I tried to contact out, let's sit together. Let's try to see if we share some interest. And then basically I met up with one good friend whom I know just, high, and sat down. And he actually was the age group World Trifecta Championship in 2017 and vice championship in 2018 in Sparta in Greece. And he was the same enthusiast as myself. And then we said, let's try to do something. Let's try to do something to try to bring this sport into Croatia, to make more fanatics, more enthusiasts, and let's take it from there.
Tell me, your perspective on the sport. You came to it in a kind of a unique spot, right at not the end, but toward the tail end of COVID, 2021. What was it like coming to the sport at kind of an interesting time in the world?
I think, it was a little bit different in this part of Europe than the rest of Europe. Croatia was one of the most loose countries in terms of applied COVID policies. So, when the summer period came, everybody forgot that there is actually something happening because Croatia as itself relies on tourism and we want tourism happening. So it wasn't that weird in this sense. So when we were going to Hungary, you just had this COVID pass. If you were vaccinated, you can go into this race and everything else was, pretty much normal.
Tell me about OCR in Croatia. How many races do you have a year? Is it still just Spartan? Are there a few other brands?
So basically 3 years ago, you had like two, but very, very much low production OCR races. I mean, low production. I got to take my hat off and says, good job, because these are, one or two guys doing obstacles with their hands, enthusiasts as well. And I mean, there's just so much they can do on their own budget and with 100 racers on the race. So then we had a Spartan race coming to Croatia 2 years ago. And this was the first real high-end production race actually being held in Croatia. And now this year we have two Spartan races, the second one being held now in Hvar with the world champs on 100 meter and 5K. And I already see that some interest is picking up. We now have like 500, 700 Croatian people attending these races. So I think now it's the moment when actually local producers or potential organizers realize, okay, we may have another race, not being Spartan race, because now there is at least some critical mass that could attend.
That Sprint World Championship, it looks like it's going to be a big race. They're putting marketing dollars behind it, and it looks like it could be a big deal for OCR Croatia this year.
It could definitely be a big deal. I mean, the location itself is pretty much spectacular. It's one of the most attractive islands in Croatia, the island with the sunniest, highest number of sun hours in Croatia, and even one of the top in the Mediterranean. And the whole production seems to be looking like on a top-notch level. And I'm really excited to see how it's going to look like. And, at first, I was skeptic about the 100 meters as well, but now I saw in Costa Rica how 100 meter looks live, and it's so exciting, it's so fun. So I'm very much looking forward to see it in Hvar in a completely different setting.
So you just got back from Costa Rica, big OCR World Championships with FISA there. Tell me about that weekend. Tell me your thoughts on it. What was the experience like?
It was, for us, the experience was actually amazing because once again, we have just started to visit other OCR races, not being Spartan races. And Spartan race, it put the bar high in terms of the organization. It's a professional organization, right? With the professional quality of the obstacles and so on. But we were very much intrigued to see how it looks like in the FISO standard races with a 3-band system and different heats and so on. And for us, this was a great experience and we loved it. And we look forward to, we saw the flaws of organization happening over there and what people are talking about. And we definitely want to share our feedback with both the European and world delegates on how we see how it can be improved. But for us, it was amazing. We didn't go there to do a result. This was our first time even seeing some of the obstacles. It was more trying it out and try to keep the bands. That's it. Unfortunately, at the finish line, we lost our bands. But I know that next time I can actually fight for a ranking.
How many athletes from Croatia went with you?
Just two of us. Just two of us. This Bojan Grbić, the guy I was talking about, who was the vice champion and world champion in Sparta in the age group. So it was us two, and it was actually a partnered engagement with Spartan race as well. Because we also went there to see the 100 meters and potentially give them feedbacks and tips on how to, create the perfect atmosphere for Hvar.
You mentioned the 100 meters a couple of times now. What did you like about that 100-meter race?
I mean, the 100-meter race, the one thing I thought first, actually, to prior seeing it live, that it was, go and then they run through the obstacles and then they finish. And it's short, it's, just 20 and a couple of seconds. But what I actually liked it that the dynamic of race changes in these 25 seconds. So at first, when I was not looking at it, I thought if someone takes the lead, it's the lead towards the end. And then when I was looking a couple of races live, you can see that the leader can change 2 or 3 times during the race. And that was fun and exciting to watch.
It's been described as Ninja Warrior-esque. Is that fair? Or is that a good thing, a bad thing? You've seen the TV show, I'm sure. What are your thoughts on it?
Yes. I like Ninja Warrior, so I don't have any negative connotations with it. But it's definitely different than Ninja Warriors because this is something where speed is put as the priority skill, while Ninja Warriors has other skills and attractiveness into it. And it's more of a showy type of competition. Well, this is more of a strict professional competition. Let's put it like this.
I have no problem with the short course. I prefer the longer races, like a 24-hour race. But I know, okay, that's what I prefer. But that's not for everybody either. So I have no problem with a 24-second race or a 24-hour race. Like as long as it's obstacle focused, like the obstacles are why a lot of us are drawn to the sport in the first place. I think there's room for it for all of it.
I completely agree. Especially as you pass the mid-30s and go up, I'm sure that the endurance topic gets more comfortable with you. I also like at least 15 kilometers as the starting point for my obstacle races.
You know what? And I think that's that 15 kilometer to 15 mile in the US. Yeah. Like in that range, I think that's kind of the classic distance, at least in my mind. Like it's long enough where endurance plays a factor, but it's not so long that it's just like a beat down. It's still a race. Like lead changes can happen and it can be exciting. So no, I agree with it.
I completely agree because I see as the beast on Spartan race as the perfect Spartan race because it can test every component. It can test your endurance. It's long. You have this fight in your head and so on, and it's still a race. The short races, they're okay, but they're too short to test all the components of the athletes, and they're not that hard as harder beasts or even going towards ultras. So everything has its speciality. So
that's a good point. You talk about the fight in your head. Most sports, I think, that fight in your head happens during training. Like if you're really into basketball or you're really into shorter sport, like you have to have had that fight in your head to get up early in the morning and to eat healthy and to train and to work out. But once the game starts, like there's not a lot of fight in your head. You're fighting it's skill and it's technique and it's the work, the fighting in your head is already done. That was done during training. But with OCR, especially the longer courses, like you have it the whole time, the training, but also during the race. Like why am I out here? I don't have to prove anything to anybody. Why am I doing this again? So no, that's a good point.
And then you go through the finish line and then you're signing up to the next race. It's hard to explain. So the hardest thing to explain is why do you do it? I cannot explain it.
Yeah. It's you got to get him out there. You got to get him on the course. And Joe DeSena told me that. He said it's hard to tell somebody who hasn't been out there the appeal of it. It's definitely unique.
Yeah.
I think that's why we see a lot of the marketing is kind of like, oh, crawling through the mud and because like we know like the obstacles are, maybe 15, like time wise, the obstacles are only like 15, 20% of the race, right? Most of the race is running, and that's when you have that fight in your head. But it's hard to do a sexy Instagram post with just like, oh, okay, endurance, but like going over obstacles or coming out of a dunk wall, like those are cool pictures. Those are what we see online a lot, even though it's just a small part of the race.
Yes. The overarching motive for most of people should be the transformative experience this sports really has. It has a transformative experience as me, even though not something that a story can be told about, that I lost a lot of kilos or something like this, but it definitely changed a lot. It gave me a new motive, a new objective towards which I would like to work, because just going to the gym is not the same as going to the gym to have a specific goal realized. So, and I like that Spartan is communicating this transformative experience and so on. But what I now see is that some of the athletes that started Spartan a bit earlier, and me as well, who gone through now quite a bit of races, we now miss sometimes a little bit of the tougher races, a little bit of the, harder and tougher set courses. So I hope this will be kept at least in a little bit, not all adjusted towards those who are just coming into the sport.
So you, as the president of OCR Croatia, you should have a voice in that. Like, hey guys, let's keep it tough. Let's keep it hard. Let's keep it Spartan.
Yes, but it's also the balance. So, for example, in Croatia, when you have, like, for example, tough trail races, like with a lot of elevation and really being hard in terms of technical terrain, then at the end of the day, you have 150 people coming to this race. Then you have a race that's not that tough, then you have 1,000 people coming. So, it's hard to balance it out, but it can be done. But in any case, yes, of course, we are going to try to keep at least some element of sport that everybody who goes through it can have a sense of achievement once they complete it.
If the Spartan race in Hvar goes well, highly attended, well done, good response, what does that mean for Croatia? And what is the future of OCR in Croatia looks like over the next couple of years?
Yeah, so we are doing our initiatives and activities as an association quite structured. We even have the first thing we actually did is to draw up a strategy, which we keep as our Bible in everything we do. And we are very happy that the Spartan race will also be broadcasted on the national TV. So what we do expect from the race is that it will attract a wider market from locals and the whole region, because this is our focus. And what we would like as a result is a couple of things. First one is to speed up the whole process with the Olympic Committee in Croatia to try to give the sport a name in the catalog of sports in Croatia, because it still doesn't exist as a sport in Croatia. And maybe now we'll have a bigger year who will listen to us and, find the appeal to actually do something about it and help us out. That's one thing. The second thing is also quite related to the local administrations, that they help us with building the infrastructure, because it was very hard for us to try and build training centers for OCR and for Ninja and so on. We even said, just give us some land, we will finance the investment of 2 rigs or something like this. And this was hard to do. So I really hope that this will also now open up. And the third thing is that we would love more races actually to be organized in Croatia and in the region on the higher level of production. And we, as an association, have an ambition to already do it next year.
Talking about those training centers, you said it was hard, but did it get done? Do you have OCR training centers in the country already?
Not yet, but I think we are making progress each day. We have been focused more or less where we already have a critical mass, like the capital of Zagreb, and we even got to a discussion that they said, okay, we will finance everything. And then another priority came up, and then I said, okay, not yet, but we are working on it. We are now really enthusiastic and think that we can make something in the first quarter of next year as latest date.
That's exciting. Andrej.
Yes.
Well, tell me about the rest of Croatia. Why should someone from the US or from the UK come to a Spartan race or an OCR race in Croatia?
I mean, Spartan races are Spartan races everywhere. They have, let's say, a standard, right? It's
Sure.
A little bit different in UK, Central Europe, and Western Europe and the US. I know it's a little bit different, but still you can know what you can expect. What's different is the destination. I'm not quite sure how often you can have a race where you have a mountain merging into a sea at a sunny day going through UNESCO protected cultural sites. This is something special. And I mean, when you combine this with the pre and after experience that you can have on the island, which is experiences the Mediterranean at its fullest with olive oils, wine, local food, fish. I don't know how that could not be appealing to somebody. I mean, I already want to go down there.
So I enjoy running obstacle course races. My wife, she's a good sport. She humors me. But she would love to go to Croatia. She loves Europe. Like for me, it's a lot easier to get a family trip to Croatia than it would be to do a family trip to Spartan, Dallas. Like if we're going to do travel, like let's travel, let's do it.
Amazing.
So I love the appeal of the international races for us.
Amazing. I mean, this will certainly be a good race, and Italy also does beautiful races and so on, and also has a good appeal to come to Italy and so on. So definitely in the last 3 years since I met Spartan Races, I had a lot of motives to travel somewhere where I wouldn't travel otherwise. For example, to Andorra. I don't have Andorra on my map, I mean, as a priority travel, but I went there and I'm very happy that I did.
I have never taken a trip to an OCR, like a destination race, that I regretted. Every single time I've gone, it's always been, even if the race didn't go great for me, there was always something like the experience was worth the trip. So
I agree.
Andrej, any last thoughts on OCR Croatia? Any thoughts for the world or the greater community you'd like to share?
I mean, what I would really like of this sport, and I see that this is possible after visiting Costa Rica, is that we really do the development of this sport in a structured way. I see a lot of small interests sometimes interfering into the big picture. But I think, having a more corporate professional approach to solving what are the priorities and what we should focus on is really something that could be beneficial worldwide. I know that we are going to do it this way in the region, and I'm sure in our success, because we also have our neighbors in Serbia, for example, who have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 participants at their local races. And these are races that have yet to come at the level of stage of production as the one we are talking about. So I think we should not rush and do it, in a constructive way and try to bring everybody back to the table. We here in Croatia, we will definitely send our constructive feedbacks to both the European and global Congress commissions and try to share our vision how we would do it, and hope that somebody else does it as well, and hope that everybody can listen. That's it.
How can people find out more about OCR in Croatia?
For now, we are the only or one of the only comprehensive sources for races on our social networks. But as I now see, a lot of European OCR apps are popping up, which show all the different races in not only Croatia, but in Europe as well. And we will work actively with these applications in feeding the new races which are happening. But for now, it's easy. We have at a higher level of production 2 Spartan races for next year, and hopefully 1 World Series that's being organized by us sometimes mid next year. That's the ambition, at least.
What's your guys' social media on Instagram?
It's OCR Croatia.
OCR Croatia. Andrej, any last thoughts before we go?
Just thank you for having me. I hope it was interesting. And if any kind of discussion pops to your mind anytime, I would be more than glad to talk again.
You can follow OCR Croatia at OCR Croatia. Spartan Hvar Croatia is October 10th through the 13th. Find out more about that at Spartan.com. Andrej Simatic, thanks much.
Thank you so much.
Special thanks to Andrej Simatic for appearing on our episode. Well done, Andrej. Come back anytime. Andrej has the National Program Director Golden Ticket Happy to have. If you are in charge of OCR for your country, then you can come on the show anytime you want. If you're from Croatia, Canada, America, Portugal, any country. If you're the man or the woman, you get a golden ticket. Come on up. Also having a golden ticket, World Champions. If you want a World Championship, OCR in a year. Come on. National Program Directors, World Champions, and race brand CEOs. So the CEO of Spartan, or the CEO of Savage, or the CEO of Thunder Dash. Last week's episode. National Program Directors, World Champions, race brand CEOs, and the 90s folk pop singer-songwriter Jewel. Welcome anytime. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We will read it on a future episode. I'll talk with you soon. Go spend time with someone you love.